He has figured it out on his own. Like something opened up in
That
his
is
brain.
amazing.
But we gave him cognitive behavioral therapy. He's gone through acupuncture. We've
Sure.
done all of the things. We've done therapy for years, which to be
All
honest
the
with
things.
you, therapy never worked. Therapy didn't work for my kid. You know how they do the
Acupuncture worked.
Acupuncture worked for my kid. I'm not even lying to you. I was on my last rope.
Oh, I swear by acupuncture. Absolutely. I swear by it. It's a huge stress relief.
Totally. But I think that keep continually pushing and pushing, like the same with I did with my middle child. I knew something was up. I've been pushing it since 4th grade. And now he's in 8th grade. And I'm finally getting the assessment, but that's going to set him up for success for high school, right? So you have to keep doing the work, and you can't listen to what other people are saying to you.
And that's really frustrating because I feel like being a mom, and you're always sort of, it's exhausting, and when there is something wrong with your kid. However, we're told that you worry too much, it's fine. It's like when you go to the gynecologist and you're like, something's hurting and da-da-da-da, and they're like, oh, you're fine, don't worry about it, or, it'll be fine. Like you have to really advocate for yourself, knowing and believing in yourself. And everybody out there is just human. All the teachers, all the principals, all the doctors. Yes. And so it's interesting to me because you are advocating in the foster and the reunification system, and you're struggling more at home than you were there. Absolutely. And that is insane to me.
Absolutely. Well, the school systems are typically based for middle of the road children, and there are safety nets put in place if you fall behind or, aren't quite meeting the standards of the test. There isn't really a lot in place if you're gifted. And especially not if you're gifted and socially immature, or gifted and, highly anxious or emotional. And they just kind of don't know what to do with that. So if you have behavioral problems, which is how that's seen, and, but they're going, but you're just not working up to your potential. Like, you're not working really hard. And then, the child's having meltdowns and self-esteem issues. It's a catch-22 because the behaviors are not what you would expect of a super smart person. They're not sitting with their hands in their lap, answering every question. That isn't it. Mine's the one rolling around on the floor in the back of the room. So, it's not what you would expect. So it's an interesting scenario. And like I said, we're on probation whether or not we'll be invited back to our particular very prestigious, school that we're in right now. But not every school accommodates. And that was the one thing I discovered as well. When he went there, I said, these are the things that I believe we're working with. And here's the information that we have so far. Everyone will say they do it, but there's a limit to what they do. At least in public school, they have to follow the IEP.
But if you are paying for a private school, they better fucking do what you said. Like, that is, you're coming in and I'm giving you my money, I'm giving you my child, and I'm letting you know exactly who he is. And so I'm paying for this boy's specific education. I'm not paying for everybody's education. That's why you go to public school. You pay your levy, you pay your taxes, you pay for your public school, but you're paying for everybody. If you pay for your own child in private school, it should be you are paying for your child's education.
But at the same time, they're not, but they are not, they don't have to by law, as in the public school.
They're not bound.
They don't have to do those they don't have to adhere to a child's needs, an IEP. They don't have to. That's why they're probably telling her, you may not be allowed back.
Absolutely true.
Now, at a public school, though, you have to. It's by law. They have to follow the IEP.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. They're saying they may not be able to give him the accommodations he needs because next year in 3rd grade, things come so fast and he's going to need to be more independent and he's going to need to have less instruction and he's going to need to produce at a higher level. And so we are really waiting to see if he rises to that bar. And it's just, we're in limbo because we had to apply to other schools and wait to see if he got in. We don't have those results yet. So we don't know if we have a home there, and we don't know if we have a home with the new schools where we applied. So we're just kind of in limbo. And he's aware of what is happening as well. So it's very difficult to explain it.
And you're dealing with the fact that the reason he's not acting well in school and living up to his potential is not because he's not smart enough, but it's also because you can tell when his teacher's frustrated with him or people are saying to
100%.
him, you're not living up to your potential. If I was told that or overheard that on a regular basis, I also then would not live up to my potential because I would be self-conscious.
Well, and to be honest
Totally.
with you, when children who have ADHD, like my son said this to me in 5th grade. He looked at me and he was like, "Why do I have to work harder than everyone else in that classroom?"
Yes.
And while he was
Yes.
getting decent grades, it was so hard on him, and honestly, it affected his self-esteem. And my 7th grader too, it affects his self-esteem.
100% true.
And I told him, I was like, "Honey, at this point in your life right now, I don't care what your grades are. I'm like, what I care about is that you're a good person and the grades will come.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that. We're going to, you
Mhm.
don't think the way that the school system was set and formulated on a factory basis, right? Like, we do this
Absolutely.
first and then we do this second. And honestly, if you are not working in this way, we're going to spit you out. It doesn't work for you. And honestly, not everybody learns that way. I mean, obviously. So to me, I
Yeah,
just don't
very
put the
true.
pressure on my kid. Obviously, I want my kids to have the
Yeah.
good grades and I want them to do that. But it makes me, it's better for me to know that they are getting
Emotionally
the help,
healthy.
emotional healthy, getting the help that they need, because I'm seeing my 16-year-old who has a 3.5 right now playing basketball. He's in
Amazing.
honors classes. He's taking a college class, and in just last year as a freshman, he had like a 2.1
Yes.
or something. So
Yeah.
I just keep, honestly, you know what I do? I just put it out there. I'm like, they are successful. They are healthy.
Claim it.
They are,
Speak it into
happy.
existence.
Yeah, I already put it out. I put it on them, and that's what you
Absolutely.
have to, I think, go from in this place, because you can't live in a place of fear.
Absolutely.
The reason a whole generation considers charcuterie a meal? Lunchables.
So I want to ask you a little bit about the anxiety stuff. Like, how did you,
Yeah.
and I know there's so many things. And like you said, your son had a bouquet of things, but anxiety specifically, because it's the go-to for a lot of people. It's kind of like saying, I can't have gluten. Everybody's a celiac now or
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
No, well, Brooke is, but she's
No,
for
I'm
real.
really, I actually
She got
forgot.
tested. But, and we were taught when we were kids, all three of us, I'm sure, were taught when we were kids, bootstraps it, figure it out. Fucking, pick up your bootstraps
Suck
and
it
figure it
up.
out and go.
And eat this peanut butter and
Right.
jelly
Absolutely.
sandwich.
I know. I don't care if you're allergic to peanuts.
That's
But
for
so
lunch.
what were some of the signs for you what were some of the things that you saw that you thought, could that be anxiety, or could that be something that then turned out to be like, yes, that was actually a sign I should have been looking for?
Absolutely. I think it was frustration at things that really weren't frustrating. Highly emotional responses to, like, it wasn't that big a deal. And obviously you don't say that when somebody's in a full tizzy, but you're going, why are you that upset that your Cheez-It fell on the floor? Like, you licked the doorknob 2 minutes ago. Like, why is that a thing? So
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Melanie told me a story on her daughter. Didn't you say she licked? What did she lick? She licked something. And you were like,
she was licking the railings at Six Flags.
Oh my God.
We were walking in line at Six Flags and she was going like this. And I was like, that can't be good.
Oh my gosh. You know your mom when you're like, why are you licking the tree? Stop licking the tree.
Never thought. That was never in my parenting or Lamaze class offerings at all. Don't lick a tree.
No.
Okay. But I do.
Preparation for it.
I want to know how you do it. You do so much and you give back so much, not only to your own boys, but to your community and the children around you. And it's incredible to me because I can barely pick my feet off the ground some days. But I mean, and that's why we're doing this, is because this is our only talent.
This is amazing. I love this
So
outlet.
this is how we give back, is to make sure people hear your story.
Love it.
So how do you, when you wake up every day, what is your, not do you have to have the mantra, and it doesn't have to be all crystally and all that stuff, but how do you put the one foot in front of the other? Do you have a system in the morning? I have my coffee first. I make sure my kids are set, and I take 15 minutes for meditation. Whatever it is, what is your thing that helps you?
I wake up first, and I don't necessarily have my coffee first. I think we'd all be happier if I did. But I wake up and I have prayer. And to your point, I manifest it, right? These things are going to happen. And I believe that, it's powerful, the things that you say. So I get up and just kind of get myself together, get my mind right, get my body moving. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Because sometimes, it's just not all that motivating to roll out of bed and go, oh, crap, here we go with this shit again today. So get myself together and be up, or I get him up to start his day. So I do reflect and have prayer. I try to do some other meditations, but I find that I'm so sleep deprived, I end up snoring through what would be meditation. So actively praying is a little better for me.
Yeah. That's fantastic. And then what do you do? I know that you were talking about one of the reasons that we were able to tape tonight too is because you said you put them to bed, or you put him to bed, Braxton to bed, and you're able to have your evenings too. So what do you do in your evenings that kind of, other than maybe drink or whatever?
There's wine involved.
That's what we do. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's definitely wine involved.
So what do you do in your evenings? For you.
So absolutely. I am a crafty person, so I have like woodworking projects in my garage. So I'm building things out there, and finishing wood, and I do blinged out sneakers, and I had to find a creative outlet for me. These are the things that I do. The house is quiet.
Are you selling these things? Are you selling them?
I do sell them, not on a large scale, but I do. So I just did a pair, or actually two pairs. A girlfriend of mine has a neighbor whose, family member's getting married. And so I did a pair for the bride and a pair for the maid of honor. And honestly, it's cathartic for me. I put my headphones on, I zone out, Hammond Prince in the background, and I can just be creative. So that's my.
So where do you sell them?
Honestly, just word of mouth. I am not necessarily have a store or anything like that. It's typically word of mouth. People will see them or have an event. I did an entire bridal party last summer. There was like 8 pairs. So I do those things. I do like t-shirts and things like that. I do real estate gifts for my local realtors, like customized things for their clients. So yeah, that's my my solitary time where I can be creative.
So here we are as Mom's Art Too. And while art for us is whatever passion, right? And we've thinking this whole tip with you is going to be, advocacy, and your volunteer work is kind of like you're off the corporate.
She's saving the world, basically.
Right. And now she's like, and I woodwork, and I bedazzle, and I get it done. And I'm like, wait, what? That's what we needed to be talking about.
We can barely keep our heads on straight, and this woman is like creating a village. I'm going to come and live under your dome. That's what needs to happen.
Mom's Art Too.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Mom's Art 2. We hope you are inspired and able to laugh along the way.
You can listen to us at momsart2.com or anywhere you get your podcast.